content carried in here is suitable for general family viewing.
With the advent of the coronavirus pandemic, automation of services became very attractive, with many people seeking to bridge the gap between consumers, the market, and suppliers through automation of services. And how else can this be done? It is through technology. Today, we are at this tech company called DUHQA, which does exactly this. My name is Samson Jura. Welcome to this episode of Technovation Show. With me is Davis Angwenyi, one of the co-founders of DUHQA Limited, a company that has come up with solutions to, I'd say, one of the 21st century problems, and is going to talk to us about this. You, by now, you already know the Technovation Show. We bring you solutions to these problems that are ailing the current and modern human being. And without further ado, let's introduce Davis. Davis, thank you very much for giving us your time today and for hosting us here at DUHQA Limited premises. First of all, let's start by a brief introduction for our viewers to understand whom we are talking to today.
Okay, Davis is a simple man who loves simplicity. I also love technology. That's why I joined this space. Davis is a graduate of JKUAT.
Mm-hmm.
So I did BSc in IT.
All right.
And then after that, I joined several companies, mostly in the payment industry. One of them is Craft Silicon.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I was exposed more into technology and into payments.
Right.
And then after that, I met my co-founder who he asked me if we can build this product.
Mm-hmm.
That is Victor.
All right. Now, DUHQA Limited, of course, it is a company.
Yes.
And every company has got a basis when it was established, and what was the eureka moment that led it to be established. Now, without even going further, let us...
How DUHQA was started.
Yeah.
At first, Victor approached me with a problem, which first he saw in the market.
Mm-hmm.
He presented it to me, and he asked me, can we build this product together?
Mm-hmm.
The problem he saw was he realized many of these retail stores, whenever they want to order an item, they have to close the shop, go to a wholesaler, get the items, come back. In the meantime, he has lost customers because he has closed down the shop.
True.
Or he has left it with someone whom maybe he trusts, maybe he doesn't trust.
Mm-hmm.
So you see that inconvenience, that's what we're trying to solve.
Mm-hmm.
And then just to remind you, DUHQA is a tech company.
Right.
So we use tech to make the life of the shopkeeper easier.
Mm-hmm.
They can get their item, we consolidate all the orders, and then we deliver the items to them within 24 hours.
Now, viewers, I'd like to introduce another person who is Victor Maina, the CEO and also the co-founder of DUHQA Limited, to continue this conversation to help you better understand what it is all about. DUHQA Limited, that is. Now, Mr. Victor, thank you very much for giving us your time as well. Now, since your existence or since your establishment as DUHQA Limited, of course, every company out there that is already established or a startup has started to go under a lot of challenges and to build itself and become to give us the products that we celebrate right now. So what challenges has DUHQA Limited gone through, and how have they helped you to shape yourself, be what you are right now, and also take us through some of the milestones that you have achieved since the establishment of DUHQA Limited until this particular moment?
So in terms of the challenges that DUHQA experienced, last year we launched revenue generation from a DUHQA perspective, and we had a good year. However, what happens is that you go to the market, you find the market also wants more products. We initially started as a company that is providing logistics from manufacturers to retailers. But when we went, we realized that if they are going to even buy more, we also need to provide for them financing. And over time, we also saw that they also needed other services as well. What that means is that we need to build the product from scratch, do a bit of research, until you get to an MVP. That means then that, the teams at the tech teams are given more work, more demand, and you can't hire fast enough. Neither can you build fast enough without breaking things too much. So that was one challenge. The other challenge is that after we realize we need to, build fast, and also that means we need to hire. So you cannot hire again fast enough. There's a process of hiring when it comes to human resource or people operations. So those two major challenges we've had to grapple with. The good thing is that it has made us become better as an organization and drive efficiency more. Internally, also the fact that when it comes to hiring fast, you also have to watch the culture does not get affected, and creating that consistency in culture. I think the team has done a fantastic job, but it has also strained us and pushed us to become better. So I think all along, or across the board, is you have challenges as a business, but it's how you respond to them. In terms of milestones, we had very interesting milestones last year. I think top in mind is the fact that we won 5 awards, and these were global awards. We won SDG Financial Times Award. We were mentioned in the Financial Times as a company that is doing a lot of work in Africa. We won out of 4,700 startups in the world, and the only African startup that won, and of course the only Kenyan startup that won. That was good. We won the DUHQA Challenge for East Africa, organized by Insight Ventures and Startup Rezu. We won the Africangels as a startup of the African Startup of the Year. We also won the Unicorn Startup Battle for Africa. And we also joined Techstars. Techstars is a global organization when it comes to acceleration for startups, and that was really good milestones. The other one is that we're able to onboard thousands of customers. Not some, but most of them are still active. We were able to rake in millions of Kenyan shillings in terms of our revenue. So pretty happy about that. And of course, building a team, which then means that as a result of that great success in 2021, as co-founders, we decided we want to expand to 4 markets in 22 and beyond. Uganda, Rwanda, Tanzania is a focus, and Kenya, of course, will still be. And within Kenya, we want to expand to 25 markets, or 25 counties, as we know.
Already you've mentioned that you are into 25 counties and you are seeking to enter into the 4 East African countries. So the question of how the penetration of market for you is will be vague at this particular moment. So what would you say are some of the future prospects for the company?
The future prospects for the company is basically moving to, as I mentioned, DUHQA initially when we wanted to move goods easily from manufacturer to the retailer. Our focus is the small customer. We've seen so far the data that we've collected, 70% of this customer is women. So gender equality as an SDG basically being sustainable development goals, that has become a chief one. You mentioned about the big 4 agenda, food security becomes also a big one. And as you try to unlock these, you realize that there's more products that are needed. So as a result, DUHQA has become now a delivery organization after you shop, which means you have a shopping app, and now financing is becoming a huge one. So we think that the future and where we're being driven to is an organization that is all-rounded to be able to provide more around those 3 sectors. So you'll see us heavy on financing, heavy on shopping or creating solutions for retailers, and lastly, heavy on delivery. So what you should expect then is more and more products from a tech perspective being churned as far as that is, or rather being developed as far as that is concerned. To just be more specific, in the next few weeks we are launching what we call a web app. That web app has basically come because we noticed initially we were creating it for retailers, but we have people that are having parties or mama chamas who, mama chamas of course, it's a familiar word, who need to buy in bulk. So now we created a web app for them. And this becomes, something that we innovated, but initially if you had asked me 6 months ago, we probably were not thinking about it. So what you should expect then in future is more and more tech products from DUHQA. Lastly, DUHQA is also moving to what we call B2C. We realized that, again, when we started, we partnered with one of the biggest meat producers
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business vlogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable.
What is this magic? I need that magic.
Somebody call 911. Panado, Sitamo, anything for your girl, give me more.
And I say my sugary body, den.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more only on Law Matters.
Now that we have that out of the way, now let's talk about your products that you've mentioned. You've just from mentioning that you are creating another solution that is the web version of the DUHQA product, and now you've got the application that is the DUHQA app. Talk to us and tell us how this works briefly before we continue this conversation and tackle some other issues, or rather get to define it even more. And then, because on the second bit you're going to see how it works and interact with it, but just give us a brief definition of what it's all about.
So good question. So basically how DUHQA works. The money you have, then you can say, hey, can I get a bit of money or financing? Of course, a bit of credit scoring needs to happen. So if you have done credit scoring for you, we can give you financing. And then after that, just sit back, relax, wait for your orders to come to your shop. The delivery is free of charge. We don't charge you for anything. In most cases, our prices are cheaper than you closing the shop to go and buy. So it doesn't make any sense not to use DUHQA.
Now, something that is of importance that we should also mention to our viewers, and for those people who are your customers at the moment and your potential customers in future, what measures have you put in place to ensure that the data that they give you in terms of the purchases and the things and their login details are safe?
Yeah. So to show you how how serious we take this issue of data protection, we are also incorporated in Canada, one of the strictest countries when it comes to data protection. So as a result, we have to abide with their laws as well, besides the Kenyan laws. And so we take it very seriously. So what happens is that the data management aspect of DUHQA is with very few people. And those few people, it's just seeing what they need to see, right? They don't need to see where you live because, that's not important. So we started by saying that, we are collecting the data that is as least as possible, or rather, the data that we need to serve you. We don't need to collect too much data that we don't need for the sake of it.
Marital status.
Such kind of data, we don't need to do that. So we avoid doing that. So that's the first step. The second step is that once that data comes to our back end, we also just making sure that that data is only with the people that need it. So for example, the driver needs your location, right? Not your live location, your shop location. So there's nothing so much, should I say, dangerous with having your shop location, because that's a business location. But they don't need your home location. So your home location, we don't ask you. They need your number only when the delivery has failed, or rather the delivery, the location has failed to show properly, to ask you, did I miss it? Did I get it wrong? So that's one of the major ways we feel it's about collect the data that you need. And then once you collect the data that you need, only avail that data internally to people that that need it. And then after that, we don't call customers to ask them about anything else. We make sure the transaction is completed, that is stored, and that historical data is not used for anything else apart from seeing how can we serve you better. What I mean by that is that we of course request customers to rate our drivers and see how our drivers performing. That is important for us to be able to improve the system, improve the service quality. But then again, that historical data, it's not easily accessible to everyone, which then means that once a transaction is completed, that is done, stored, in a way that is safe. One of the things Samsung we're trying to do is become helpful to customers. So we've noticed, which, it's no secret, data charges in the country are pretty expensive. And so one of the things that we started doing is we are in discussion with one of the biggest telco in the country. And what we want to do is that so long as you've logged into the DUHQA app, the charges are being absorbed by us. And I think it's one of the things that we feel as an organization is corporate social responsibility angle of it is we know the effects and the positive effects DUHQA has in the market. We know how it's helping our people. But data is a challenge. You can wipe out all your earnings through data in trying to order, trying to go through an app. So if you can take on a bit of that burden for you, why not? So I think that's one of the things that is really exciting that we are doing in the near future. And so I can't wait for the launch of that. The other thing that we've also done, we spoke about earlier, that our app is chiefly on Play Store. And you haven't created an iOS app. And the main reason, as I mentioned to you, is that very rarely, not impossible, do you get a person who owns a small shop with an iPhone. Not impossible, but very rarely. However, what if you have an iPhone and you want to order? Then you have the web version that you've created, and you can log in there. So the web version does serve that purpose. It also helps an individual who just wants to go online and shop without necessarily downloading an app. Because again, space constraints can be an issue when it comes to your phone. And so you can just log into your app, you have your details, and just order what you need, and you're good to go. So those are things that are very exciting that you're about to launch, and we can't wait for that.
At Play Store, just search the name DUHQA, download it, and then once you open it, you'll get a splash screen. Go to the next screen. So this is where you put your phone number. The purposes of phone number is one, to be able to contact you, and also to verify you. So just put our phone number. A code will be sent to your phone, which you'll use to verify. In our case, it's 4257. So You'll get the homepage where we list all our products, their prices. So for a customer, they can be able to view all the items that we have in our inventory. Now, the next thing you need to do is add your shop before you start shopping. Or you can add your shop later after you have finished shopping. So we'll start with the option of adding your shop, which you just come now to the drawer bar on your left, top left, and then select My Store. Then click the plus sign, of which you'll have a form to fill all the shop details. That is the store name, description, the neighborhood which you are located or where the shop is, and the address. The purposes for this is to help the driver locate the shop. So once you fill all those details, you can shop. In our case, we'll just pick some couple of items. You can use the shortcut here to add the items to the shopping cart, or you can open the item and fill all the items that you deem necessary. Once you've finished shopping for your items, you can go to the shopping cart. It will list all the items plus the total at the bottom. So once that's done, you can go to the next screen, which is select to confirm when you want the items to be delivered. So we usually have an option of either today or tomorrow, and then the preferred time when you want the driver to arrive, either in the morning or in the afternoon, and you can add as many stores as you want. In this case, you'll pick our store here at the moment, and then you go to the next screen. The next screen now confirms everything. It's more of a summary of the items you wanted to order, or rather the items you're ordering, and the location where you want it to receive the items. And then now you can pay for the items. We usually have 3 options. We have DUHQA Wallet, we have cash on delivery, we have split payment, and then we have M-Pesa. You can add your M-Pesa number here, and then you can be able to pay for the items before, or you can use the option of cash on delivery. That is, you pay for the items once the driver is on site. So for this option, I'll take cash on delivery. So it's as simple as that. Once you do that, you get your order number, and we have received your order. So we have made the process as seamless as possible, from selecting the items to the last items. You can confirm your active orders on, you go back to the homepage, and then there's a notebook here. Once you click on that, now you can view the items. Once a driver has been assigned, you'll be notified, and then you'll see the details of the driver. And when the driver arrives on site, you also get a notification, and then now you can do the final payment, because this was a cash on delivery. Split payment is you want to pay partly by M-Pesa, and you also want to pay partly by cash. So in this case, I'll need to add let me add my M-Pesa number. Let me just make another order to show you how split payment works. I select the delivery, the preferred time, the store. I confirm pay now. Then on split payment, you can see there is the total amount. This is the total amount you want to pay in cash, and then amount you want to pay in M-Pesa. For DUHQA Wallet, it works where customers, maybe they overpaid for the items, so the balance is taken to DUHQA Wallet, or the customer paid for the items and the items are not in stock. So the amount will go to DUHQA Wallet. So this is where the split payment comes in. The thing that makes DUHQA stands out is we don't have a time where you can close for your order. Most of our competitors, they say make your order by midday. On our side, you can make your order you'll be guaranteed in less than 24 hours or within 24 hours, you'll have your order.
As usual, I hope you've learned something out of this episode. Remember to leave your comments and or suggestions on our social media handles, that is at KUTV Kenya, both on Facebook and on Twitter. And for this and previous episodes of Technovation Show, you can find us through YouTube, that is Technovation Show. If you have burning questions or rather know someone who would wish to be interviewed or featured on Technovation Show, you can reach us through Gmail, that is technovationshow2020@gmail.com. My good name is Samson Jurand. Until next time, keep learning something new each and every day. And as the French say, au revoir, and I'm out.